Hey everyone, it's Jim from Team Destiny, and I'm here with Ferny Ceballos in sunny Los Angeles. We just had a wonderful, amazing masterminding session over the past few days, and we've spent some time learning and sharing ideas, and also sharing a few mojitos and tacos at 3 in the morning. So
you don't need the tacos. You're scared of the tacos.
Yeah, I don't eat that crap, but these guys do. So. Anyways, we had some really wonderful, technical conversations, but the more important conversations we had were around, life and philosophy. And one of the things that Ferny and I were talking about last night was, being an entrepreneur and sort of growing up in humble beginnings and what that has meant and how it's sort of driven Ferny to sort of be who he is today. And I'd like some individuals out there to learn a little bit about Ferny and why he is the way he is a little bit. So I'm going to pass it over to Ferny to give some explanation around sort of your origins and why you are an entrepreneur and what you believe in.
Well, I never started off ever thinking that I would ever own a business. Growing up, coming from very humble beginnings, my parents were Mexican immigrants. I was born in East LA, just like Cheech, and I didn't speak English until I was 5 years old when I started school, and so I basically grew up, very Mexican until I went to school. My dad was a mariachi, he was a musician. So I grew up around mariachi music, and it was a very happy childhood, and so when I started school, of course my parents wanted us to do well in school and have the life that they wanted for us, and so I did really well, and always getting good grades. That was if I got a B, my mom asked why, and so I did very well through high school, and coming from those humble beginnings, it was kind of a small miracle, but I was accepted to MIT and had the opportunity that a lot of kids grew up with, dreaming of going to this the most prestigious technical institute in the world. And people from all over the world are would kill to have the opportunity I had. And oddly enough, when I applied, I didn't even know what it was. It was almost like ignorance on fire. It's like, yeah, what the hell, it's just sending the paperwork. And I knew something was up, but they were the only school that required an interview. But obviously when I was accepted, by that time I had figured out what I was waiting for. And a couple of days after I got the acceptance letter, they offered to fly me out, and I went to Boston for the first time in my life, and at the time of my life, and submitted my acceptance right there. And oddly enough, when I got there, and there was the introduction. The introduction was very similar to the pitch that you get at an MLM meeting, where basically you're here now, and with this degree, when you graduate 4 years from now, you're set. It's like this is your ticket to financial freedom and success and anything you want in this world. And it was eerie how similar it was to an MLM meeting, in retrospect. And I had the time of my life there. Some of my best friends are some of the most brilliant people in the world, and got this amazing degree. And I bought that. With this degree, my life was set. And almost at the time I was an engineer, so I kind of looked down on business people and thought they got a lot. They earned and got too much for what they did. In other words, there was this ego about engineering so hard, we should get paid more, type of attitude. And but when I left MIT and went to work in corporate America and the aerospace industry, I was just very disappointed. It was kind of an anticlimactic, end to my academic career and beginning to my professional career, because I expected more. And within a couple of days of working in corporate America, my mission became, how do I get out of here? And I think that's when my mind started shifting a little bit. I knew I knew I was meant to do something far greater, and I felt like I owed it to my parents to do that. So for 5 years, I spent trying to figure out how to get out of corporate America, and I didn't know. Again, starting a business kind of entered my mind, but it enters the mind the way it enters most engineers' minds. Is like, I have to create something. I have to, invent something. This great technology, which a lot of my friends are still trying to do right now. They're trying to create this, cool widget or some revolutionary technology for, the military or whatever, and they're stuck in a lab and trying to get funding and doing all this paperwork for grants and venture capital and all this other stuff. I'm like, wow, I don't want to really do all that crap, and I don't feel like I want to create anything. But those thoughts enter my mind, and at grad school while I was working is when I met Raymond, and a year after I met Raymond, we were homework partners. He introduced me into the world of network marketing, and at that point I was so desperate and miserable that I was like, sure, what the hell, let's see where this rabbit hole goes. And that was when I guess entered that process of becoming an entrepreneur, and it opened up this whole new world, and it really was like Alice in Wonderland, going down the rabbit hole. And